The crisis between Iran and Israel could boost the price of gold and accelerate changes in the global financial system. The growing climate of tension between Iran and Israel on the ground is worrying geopolitical analysts, as it is also beginning to have a direct impact on international financial markets. Experts warn that an escalation of this conflict could have significant repercussions on the price of gold, the implementation of Basel III standards, the advancement of digital banking systems, and the dynamics of the appreciation of this type of exchange on a global scale. I pray to the Alza, an active refuge in times of crisis. Historically, gold has been considered one of the main protective assets during periods of political and economic instability. And this trend is confirmed in the current scenario, after the Israeli attacks on strategic installations in Iran, recorded on June 13, 2025, the price of gold reached values close to historical records, approaching $3,500 per ounce. According to market analysts, this assessment is a direct response to the increase in geopolitical risk in the Middle East region, considered strategic for the global oil and gas supply. In times of crisis, inverters tend to migrate to assets considered safer, such as gold, which increases their price even more. In case of a large-scale war, experts predict that gold could exceed $4,000 to $6,000 per ounce. Recent publications on platforms such as X, formerly Twitter, refute this perception, reflecting growing interest in precious metals in a context of global insecurity. Oil, inflation, and impact on fiat currencies. Iran is one of the world's main oil producers, with an average of 3.3 million barrels per day, mainly destined for China. An armed conflict in the region could interrupt the supply of this product, especially if it affects the Strait of Hormuz, a transit point for approximately 20% of all liquid oil and natural gas that is transported throughout the world. This type of interruption would cause an immediate shock in international oil prices. It is estimated that a barrel of Brent could reach $100 in more severe scenarios. This increase would pressure global inflation, directly impacting the purchasing power of fiat currencies. As a result, the search for protection against inflation tends to increase the demand for gold even more. A 2019 study showed that a 10% increase in the price of oil could increase the consumer price index by 0.4% in a year, which strengthens the attractiveness of gold as a reserve asset. Basel III and the golden fiber of the central banks. Another relevant factor in this scenario is the stance of the central banks. Several countries, including China, India, and Poland, have increased their gold reserves in response to global political and economic instability. This trend was driven by the reclassification of gold as a Level 1 asset under the new Basel III regulations, which now treat it as a high-quality liquid asset, alongside foreign exchange. Faced with fear of new financial sanctions, international blockades, and exchange rate instability, many countries have sought to reduce their exposure to dollar-denominated assets, promoting a strategic diversification of reserves. A possible conflict involving Iran could further accelerate this process of global financial reorganization, boosting the adoption of sovereign digital currencies, independent payment networks, and a greater use of physical assets as a store of value. Conclusion: gold as a thermometer of global instability. The risk of a war between Iran and Israel extends beyond diplomatic and military spheres. Its repercussions are felt in markets and can profoundly transform the architecture of the global financial system. Gold, which historically reflected the perception of the risk of the inverters, it has served as a thermometer of this instability. At the same time, regulatory changes such as Basel III and the advance of digital banking systems are creating a transition scenario where trust in traditional currencies is gradually questioned. Depending on what happens next, the world could witness a profound reconfiguration in the way wealth and financial security are perceived in the XXI century.